Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host today. And I had things scheduled before that never came to materialize. So, what will we talk about today? Good question. So, maybe I can start reading from the Smart Handbook, like I haven't gotten to do in a while. And maybe not. And it's okay. Either way. Open up the chat here. How's everybody today? There we go. Hello, Plant Freak. Hello, Christy. Hello, Cosmic. Hello, Charlie. Hi, you guys. It's good to see you. All righty. Setting goals. So far in this chapter, we've helped you identify what parts of your life are probably in need of your attention, regaining your physical, mental, and emotional health, and rediscovering lost passions and interests, and creating new ones. Read that yesterday, and that's okay. You also identified in the lifestyle balance pie the areas that are important to you and which ones might need a little more work. Putting this all together requires planning, flexibility, creativity, and energy. But where to start? Setting goals. Goals help you maintain your focus on achieving balance and direct your energy toward your new life and away from your old one. Like many who suffer from addictive behaviors, goal setting may be unfamiliar to you. Now that you have freed up the time you've used to spend on engaging in addictive behavior, you have time to focus on your values and interests. The goals you set will be more meaningful if you connect them to your values. You may want to review your hierarchy of values from point one. Using your values as your guide will help you priorities and point your life in the direction you want it to go. Hello, Christy. Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
can you? Hi.
Can I? Yeah, I can hear
Good.
you.
Am I?
The picture,
I.
the picture froze for a second, but it's unfrozen
Okay.
now.
Okay. All right. Good.
So we're
Sorry.
good. You're fine. You're fine. Um, any new drama today? Do we want to pick up where we left off yesterday, or do we want to move on to something else?
No. No, there wasn't really anything else.
Okay.
I think they did do a live Mike and Claire and a few others.
Yeah, I watched it. They didn't really address it as far as I'm concerned. They didn't give any reasons
That's what
why.
I heard.
You know, and if you're asking people to donate to your cause and you've done a major disruption like that, a major coup like that, let's just call it what it is,
Right.
then you owe the people that you're asking money from an explanation.
Oh,
Arent did his part.
absolutely.
He gave
Right.
his side of the story. I was
Mhm.
I went in there with a completely open mind,
Yeah.
ready to consider their view, because I know
Mhm.
there are two sides to every story, and
Right.
probably the truth is somewhere in that little middle area.
Right. Absolutely.
I know that. I'm an adult. I can
Mhm.
deal with that,
Mhm.
you know, but they gave us nothing. Nothing.
That's what I heard, and then they
A
called
whole
everybody.
lot of nothing, like an hour and 40 minutes worth of nothing.
Oh, I heard they called everybody like keyboard warriors, and were just like,
Well,
not.
the comments were harsh. I'm not gonna downplay that. The comments were brutal.
Wow.
They were,
Wow.
you know, they were.
Mhm.
But
Well, yeah.
and it, we touched on it briefly yesterday. Steve and I had kind of been wondering. By the way, Steve says hello, and he's going to be potentially going home tomorrow, and they'll be taking up his physical therapy and all that good stuff from there.
Yay! At
And
least
just say his
still
knee
get
is
to go
feeling a
home.
little bit better. So that we'll take it. That's something,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I was thinking
Yes.
about this yesterday. Just
Mhm.
because you leave a cult doesn't mean you're going to recover and have a changed life. Yeah, you're going to have a changed life in that you don't go to that daily routine that you were in the cult. But when you quit drugs, when you quit alcohol, when you quit anything that's destructive, you have to change your mindset. And that can be years of therapy or months of therapy or weeks of therapy. It can be support groups, but you need to do something to get your mind churning in a direction that, you know, let me get you back in here, that flows on the positive, in the way that's going to help you recover and be better as a human being, not just do your old thing outside of the cult. And I was really thinking about that yesterday. And it doesn't matter what you quit. Doesn't matter if you quit a cult. Doesn't matter if you quit an abusive relationship. Doesn't matter if you quit booze. Doesn't matter if you quit drugs. Matter if you quit, engaging in destructive behaviors such as gambling or, illicit sex with strangers or whatever it be, whatever it be. Your mindset has got to change, or you're just going to be holding on with white knuckles to not do the thing that you left behind to not do. It's not good enough to just walk away. It's not good enough to just walk away. You've got to do something to reprogram your brain so that you can go forward looking at the world through healthier glasses.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You can't, and especially to be in as deep as they were, like you're
Mm,
not going to just like those are going to be your default settings now,
yeah,
to go back to those. And
yeah.
and I think cult recovery is a thing, just like
Yes, it
addiction
is.
recovery.
I can promise you it is. When I
Yeah.
spent the first 4 years, 5 years coming out of that, feeling like I was unraveling like a sweater. My personhood, I didn't know if there was going to be anything left when that when that last little knit knot was pulled.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, I knew here, but after you've gone through this a while, you're like, oh my God, am I ever gonna have come out of that mindset? Am I ever gonna stop having that talk in my head? You know,
Mhm. I would think you'd
that,
have
that
to.
takes monumental effort
Oh, yeah. Well, and I would
to
think
reprogram
you would have to reevaluate your faith
everything.
structure too.
Everything,
Like,
not just your faith structure big time, but
mhm.
everything. Because
Yeah,
everything in your life revolved around that, depending on how deep in you got in a
yeah.
coercive control situation.
Right, right.
Everything is up for scrutiny
Mhm.
because everything went into it, casting that scrutiny aside,
Yeah.
casting your better judgment aside, casting your instincts aside to
Mhm.
forge ahead in this cult
Mhm.
or this coercive, abusive relationship.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was interesting too on that note. Oh, uh, Aaron said in his video, he's like, it's like a toxic relationship
It is.
that that he didn't know if he could leave.
Yeah.
And that's something else too.
Yeah.
I don't know why my internet is so patchy today.
Yeah, I mean, to leave one cult and just form another and behave the same way you behaved inside the big cult you left,
Mhm.
um, in the long run, how's that going to help people?
Right. Right. And
I mean, because that's a key component to recovery is helping others, and
Mhm.
they have not failed in that area. one bit. You know, I know the work that they've been doing is good work. You know,
Right.
I believe that.
Mhm.
You know, but to there just doesn't seem to be much different markers between what happened in the foundation than what happened in Scientology. In my as far as I can see, I'm still open to hearing the other side.
Right. I don't think they're going to give it to us though, because if they, like, last night would have been the perfect time for them to do it,
100.
and they didn't do anything. They didn't say
Hello.
anything.
Hey, how you doing, Cosmic?
Hi.
Sorry, I don't know if my headphones are working. I've got to. 1 second.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey there, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Is there an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Hi, missed you guys yesterday.
Missed you too. How are you doing? Talk to us. Tell us what's happening.
Oh gosh, I've been so sick.
Aw.
Yeah, this whole drama thing, I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible because
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
not.
like.
I'm all up in it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to pick sides because I just feel like, we've all been in some way in a cult, and
See, and that's why I'm
when
all up in it, because I have been in a cult, and you know,
yeah,
I feel like
and I
I can
feel like
do it.
yeah, but I feel like because I feel like the people who are commenting, like, this is a parasocial, like, we as people who are following them, we've got a parasocial relationship with them, as in we feel like we are owed a response when.
Well, and we are, because we've donated.
Yeah, we are to a
We've
degree.
invested our emotions and our money in those endeavors.
Yeah, but there's also like a point where it kind of is like.
Well, okay, but if you've got one person telling their side of the story and you're not telling yours,
Yeah, it does feel a little bit.
Then guess whose side of the story gets to be the narrative?
Exactly. It's like, but I commented on I think it was in I guess, like, what's that Hamilton quote? You've got to be in the room when it happened. Sort of thing. Unless you're in the room when it happened, you're never going to know the full story,
No,
and there's always three sides.
And I really wanted to know the story. That's why I do that miserable episode, that miserable show, or whatever you call it, live cast, broadcast.
Yeah, I watched.
And I went there with a completely open mind, willing to hear the other side of the story.
There might be an echo now. 1 second. I've got to mute.
So are you going to have to get your tooth pulled, or is it?
Yeah, I needed to get my tooth pulled 4 years ago. So I've just been doing. I have all these things that I do to keep it from getting infected and to keep it from hurting.
Right.
And I do it every day. Have to. That tooth is hanging on, just barely hanging on. But I'm going to hang on to that thing as long as I possibly can. I was telling Cosmic that I think I brushed too vigorously on that side. And so I think a little bit of blood down in there, and that led to a little bit of infection.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Normally I'm pretty good about, getting the pocket cleaned out and all that good stuff.
Right.
I have, I'm going to hold on to the tooth as long as I possibly humanly can.
Back in the old days in England, they used to do this family thing where they'd go get all their teeth taken out and have dentures put in, because it was easier than having to deal with the.
But in the long run, is it having to do all that you have to do to keep your dentures in? And
I have dentures. I have dentures. My teeth aren't real. And I have to say, that's not due to anything that I've done, as I told Carol.
Yes, you did say that.
Mine is due to drug use, but of my own. Mine's due to abuse. Also, so but it's not great. Like, I would like to have my own teeth.
Yeah.
But and also I don't look like myself to myself, but unless I tell people, most people don't know.
Yeah. But no, I would not have known if you hadn't.
No.
So, but I don't look like myself to myself anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, because I don't look like, because I used to have a gap between my teeth, which I used to love.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I think people with their little gap. I hate when they get their gap fixed, because it gives them a really cool, different look. I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be able to whistle through it. I used to be able to go and whistle through my gap, and that was cool. Now I can't whistle anymore, so I'm like, eh. But,
Interesting.
Yeah, but so moving along from the drama as far as the whatever was going on, I'll tell you what's happening as far as my detox.
Yeah.
So my doctor and I have decided that until I've dealt with my underlying anxiety, that detox is never going to work. I'll just keep going back.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so she's put me on this new medication, which it's like an anti-anxiety medication. So we'll see how that goes. I feel very spacey today because I took it for the first time last night. It should start working within like about 3 days to a week.
Okay.
And then and because anxiety is the basis of my addiction. So when I get anxious, I'll drink. So right now it's water, but yeah.
Good. That's a good thing. I'll drink
and
that.
I have mushroom coffee, so we'll just.
I still think that's weird, but it's like, it's like so we're going to work on the anxiety,
okay,
and then and also harm minimization, which is a smart recovery thing. So like reduction.
Okay.
Because the level, like, I'm not like shaking every morning when I wake up for alcohol like I used to be. So that's
okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yes. So we'll just. I actually cried all day yesterday. It's another reason why I couldn't come on. Is because I just wanted to just quit.
Yeah.
But
you mean
I also
quit?
I wanted to just quit. I just wanted yesterday to be my last day.
But
my doctor
ever?
Yeah, I wanted yesterday to be my last day ever. I wanted detox to be. I wanted it to be that, but my doctor had a chat with her.
Okay.
I thought.
Ooh, scared me. You scared me there.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh no, I meant quit drinking.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry. No. I meant like, because I was ready to be for yesterday to be my last day of drinking. But talking to my doctor, I realized that it's never going to work if I don't deal with the underlying issues first. Like, and I have severe anxiety, and I'll always go back to drinking if anxiety is there. And so we're going to work on the anxiety.
Okay. So
I've started this new medication. I'm very spacey today, so I may not stay online. I feel like I need to go lie down already. But I will like keep watching, but I may end up falling asleep because your voices are very soothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to come on and say hello and that I love you guys. And
I'm so glad you did. Thank you, because I was worried about you yesterday.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to seeing you now.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for reaching out. Stasia and Christy and Carol and everyone who reached out. And I also like to check in to make sure Steve's okay.
Yeah. Did you hear when he called me today and said he wasn't going to be able to make the meeting today? He didn't think, but that he wanted his girls to know that he said hi, and and that he'll be back on quick as he can. And I asked him about his knee, and he said he thinks it is getting a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope Vicky's all right too, because she's also
been through a hell and back, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I actually might get offline now because I'm actually feeling a bit dizzy. This medication is I don't know what it's doing to me, but I'll still be on my very broken iPad.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to say hello and thank you so much for all your support.
Before you leave, CK had a question. Is the medication that you're on for withdrawal?
No. It's for anxiety, but I have this other one which is topiramate, which actually they use in America for withdrawal, so it stops seizures just in case. Like, so
is that one an as needed?
No, I take it every day. It's actually it's actually for PTSD and migraines and all that sort of stuff. So so when I reduce. I'm very clinical. So I have a glass where I've marked out like a standard drink of wine, so I know exactly how much I'm drinking, and I'll mark down exactly how many I'm having each day. So because like an actual wine glass is more than a standard drink. It's like like one. Yeah, so I know exactly how much I'm drinking because I'll only put that much in. So I know exactly how much. I'm very clinical. So I think that might be part of my OCD part of me. But so I make sure. So say I used to I was very heavy. I might have had like 12. I'll reduce it the next day down to 11, next day down to 10.
Okay.
Blah 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 blah. That's what I'll do, and I'm not even at that stage at the moment anyway. So so it's just I'm working with my doctor. I'm very safe. I'm very good. It's just that I just begged my doctor to not be on Valium anymore because it's just another drug of addiction.
Yeah.
So I just said, please, because she was like, all right, we can do another set of Valium for you, and I said, please no. Can we do something for anxiety that's not?
We missed you in the meeting room, so hopefully one of these days we'll be able to see your pretty face again.
Well, Cosmic, I'm just so proud of you, and I'm proud that you're realizing where things are and working on the underlying causes of things, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I'm really proud of you. So
thank you. Actually, my doctor said she was proud of me too, so I was like, oh.
I don't know anybody who's working harder for their sobriety than you right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
I have so much to work for,
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave you guys to it, and I've got to. Because I sound terrible anyway, because I'm full of crap.
Oh, I didn't notice.
All right, and I've also got to let my dog out and make sure the snake's not out there. So.
Yeah, no. That scared me.
That scared me too. That little thing looked deadly.
It's actually that being out there makes me feel safer because they eat the more danger noodles. So,
yeah.
Okay.
That's how it is here. We have copperheads and black snakes, and they say don't kill the black snakes because they actually eat the more poisonous ones. And I'm like, look, as long as I don't see it, I don't care what's here. It's when I see it, we have a problem.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've seen one in the wild. Yeah, and I live here, so like I've only ever seen them at the zoo. So I'm like, oh my god! Like we were I live in Australia. I'm like acting like a crazy person, like oh my god, and like the Kiwi dude, he's like they're going like looking over there, like I'm like you're freaking insane. He's like taking photos, like the videos are all from the Kiwi guy, like. You're so dumb. I'm also Kiwi, but I know I've lived here long enough to stay away from the note ropes, you know. Right. So, okay, then I'll talk to I'll be on, but I'll leave you to it. Love you.
All right.
Love you.
Thank you for popping in. Love you.
No worries. Bye.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
So Steve's doing good. Cosmic's doing good. I know Stasia's got some stuff going on, but she'll be doing good. So
yeah. You are doing good, Stasia.
You are.
Just, it may not feel good, but you're doing good.
Yeah. It's always a tricky place to be.
It is.
Right as everything is changing. And I think it doesn't really even matter how it looks like it's changing for you. It's just even the most, like I'm somebody who I like
comfortable.
Well, and I like change, but there's some of it that I'm like, no, I'll pass on that. So it is difficult, especially when it's big.
Yeah.
It can really seem like a big thing, but just keep on keeping on. Like Joe Dirt says, life's a garden, man. Dig it. But but it is, and going into this time of year too, I think, especially here where we are, as we're headed into winter, that can be difficult too.
It can be tricky. Yeah.
Because that's a real thing, too, that seasonal.
Oh yeah.
Sad.
I've battled it with it since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's when things like this are most important. Oh, shitty kitty almost knocked over my tree. It's good to be building those throughout the spring and the summer, when you're more like you're getting all the sun and everything like that. And that way you have those relationships, as you're kind of coming into this and you feel safe and people know you. And, it's a little easier to navigate that because it's not like you're trying to find it, right at first.
Right.
I think is really important,
Yeah.
So it's just this time of year, just I don't know. But she's trying to climb my tree. So the part of the reason that I did 2 trees this year was just so she would have one that she could climb in that wouldn't cause me utter panic in my heart when she climbed on it. I'd be like, that's the spare tree. Go ahead, climb in. She's already got a spot like where the branches. She's got the branches out like this, and she just peeks out.
Cute.
I'm like, well, as long as you're happy.
What do you think? Do you want to get into some DBT a little bit?
We can. You've got that really good book that you were reading from?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that because I think that might be definitely helpful. For sure.
So I read The Interconnectedness of Everything. Reality is continuously changing. Did I get into Finding Truth in Opposites?
No, you were starting to.
Okay.
And,
okay.
And I think that's a good place to start. Yeah.
Thank you for keeping up. Because I honestly don't remember. I get squirrel, and that's gone.
Right. No. We were just getting ready to start talking about that because I thought there were a couple situations playing out in real time that fit, and I was like, oh, when it's time to talk about that. So yeah.
Right on. Okay. So Finding Truth in Opposites. Often we get stuck in simplistic black and white, right or wrong thinking. Oh my God. Yes. Just leave it there. We decide that there is only one side to a situation, no matter how complex the scenario may truly be. The beauty of dialectics is that we can learn to look at all sides of a situation and see more than just the good, bad of what we're experiencing. We can practice looking at all sides, as there is wisdom in being able to hold on to opposite perspectives at the same time. This helps us move away from the extremes. Want to be better at solving problems? Developing this kind of flexibility can be key. Here are some examples of dialectical statements that can be useful in learning DBT. This is hard, and it is more likely that I can solve this problem if I just keep trying. I understand how you might feel that way. I feel another way about this issue. Sometimes I feel that people are unkind, even though at other times they can be very kind. Contrast those to the non-dialectical statements below. This is too hard. I can't do it. You are always wrong, and I'm usually right. In fact, I am always right. People are just jerks. Imagine if these statements might impact your emotions differently than the original statements. Imagine how these statements might help you shape your actions going forward. The 4 skills modules of DBT. One of the best known aspects of DBT is the sizable skill set we begin to apply and develop as we learn more about it. The adult DBT skills are comprised of 4 modules: mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, interpersonal effectiveness. We'll be discussing them all here in more detail farther along in this book. What you will notice is that 2 of the modules are acceptance-oriented, and 2 of the modules are change-oriented. The main dialectic of DBT, change and acceptance, flows through the entire treatment. Note, Teen DBT methodology includes an additional module, Walking the Middle Path, that focuses on teaching further skills related to dialectical thinking. Validation and behaviorism. This module contains elements of both acceptance and change. Now we get into mindfulness. Mindfulness is considered the core skill of DBT. Why is this? Think about this definition of mindfulness: purposefully paying attention to and accepting what is happening right now. Using the skills of DBT requires mindfulness because it's essential to respond to what is actually happening right now, not what we wish was happening or what we imagine will occur. Mindfulness also plays a pivotal role in how we access wise mind and the state of mind in which we access our best selves and make our most successful choices. You'll learn more about mindfulness and wise mind in Chapter 4. Mindfulness skills are acceptance-oriented. And then, I don't know, maybe we can get into like one a day, or do you want to keep going with the other ones? I kind of am leaning toward letting that sink in.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's a good way to do it, because it's a lot, and letting it sink in. And I like that it breaks it down and says it's acceptance and change, based, because it really is. It's changing how you accept your reality, how you see it, and how you apply it. And that was so helpful to me. That's one of the reasons I'm such an advocate for DBT.
Yeah.
Did I freeze again?
Your vocals have not frozen, but your
My face has.
Yeah, you're up. Yeah.
All right. Well, and it kind of goes back. One of the things I learned to ask myself was, what do I know to be true? And that helps me to, with the acceptance part of it, with the change part of it, and moving into the mindfulness. Because when I know what is actually true, not what is perceived, not what I want to be true, but what is true, then, that helps me a lot. It's just like if I'm trying to think of a good example. So let's just use Steve for an example. So, we know that he fell. We didn't know if he had broken his jaw or not. We didn't know how he fell. Going back to the how and why, like the how and the why wasn't as important as what's happening right now. And so where you can really get lost in your emotional mind about how he fell and why he fell and how long it took and all of this, that's keeping you in that emotional mind kind of stirred up.
You're spinning your wheels in there.
Right, right. Whereas if you move into your wise mind, you're saying, okay, the how and the why is not important right now. Not that it's not important, it's just not important right now.
Now,
What is important is, okay, someone did come get him. He did get to the ER. He did get
oh, good.
his way focused over here.
Now you're
You know, like
you're freezing. You're cutting out and
spinning
freezing.
and not able to kind of say, okay, well,
You're cutting out and
we'll
freezing.
deal with this later. Right now, to do. And that's kind of
You're cutting out.
like one good example of how using DBT can really be helpful when you can set that, you know, to reach out to us. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you've been freezing and cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So we missed the bulk of what you were saying there.
Okay. So what was the last part you heard?
Well, the last clear part was that it's not that the how and why isn't important, but we need to set that aside for what's.
Oh, right. Because say if Vicky would have been really focused on the how and why, she wouldn't have been able to have taken the steps she needed to take to ensure he was okay. So it's not that you're not going to go back to the how and why. It's that in that moment, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is getting into your wise mind. And that's where those questions for me of what do I know to be true really comes in. Because when you can ask yourself, what do I know to be true? What's factual? That takes you out of emotional mind into wise mind and allows you to better handle the situation so that it's changing. Whereas a lot of times, especially when we're dealing with people that we love, it is our first response to go to emotional mind, but like you said, you just continue to spin your wheels. Whereas if you can set aside the how and the why, which is what makes you more emotional, and move into that, all right, what do I know to be true? And not what do you think is true or how this person is feeling. It's kind of like you're in the tornado. You've got to, you can't stand there and cry and scream that the tornado's coming at you. You've got to be like, okay, it doesn't matter how the tornado's coming. It doesn't matter why it's coming. What I have to do right now is get to shelter. And then you just do that. And then when that's done, then you get out of the shelter and then you kind of look around. And I know it's a little catastrophic, but sometimes our emotions can feel very catastrophic.
Very, very catastrophic.
And how I see something isn't going to be the same as how you see it. But with DBT, even the two of us who have very different initial reactions can get out of our place of that and then get to wise mind. So it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you fall on. And I think that that's, important. And sometimes even just, seeing the opposite. So changing your perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, going back to Steve. Okay. Yes, he fell. But clearly he's okay because he called us and, he was able to talk to us. So that's a good thing. Right. And that's kind of that seeing it in opposites. And that's just why I love DBT so much, is because it really allows you to just kind of, and that was a good way in that book to, to say it, just stop and I think that not that what happened with Steve was good, but it's a good example of how you can use DBT to help you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody, but
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so
Yeah, I can definitely use that kind of, being able to redirect myself to, okay, this is how I feel about what just happened, but you know, what's real right now?
yes, yes, yeah.
Because your emotions feel very real
Oh, they
in that moment.
do. And they're tricky because they kind of trick you sometimes. And it's not that your emotions aren't real, but it's hard to remember that when we're really in our emotional mind, we don't make our best decisions. Just like if we're too far the other way, if we're void of emotion, we don't make good decisions either, because you're either going to be so wrapped up in your emotions that you're not seeing what's going on, or you're like, and that's not a good
Yeah,
place to be either. So neither
yeah,
one of
that's true.
those are exactly healthy all the time. And so I like that they call it wise mind, and it's not void of any one thing. It's being able to set aside your, you know, initial knee-jerk reaction and be able to, kind of see it different, which it
Yeah.
takes a lot to practice, because, if you've been doing it that way your whole
Oh,
life,
I
it's
mean, I'm pushing 60 here,
yeah,
How long have I been functioning that way? Oh, my Lanta.
right. Well, and
My emotions have always been pretty strong, and
mhm,
um, yeah.
yeah. And even if, and see, I'm the other way. Sometimes I'm so like just to the point and direct that it's very harsh, so I've even, like, with myself, I've learned to say, okay, this is coming from a place of love. Or sometimes I'll just say, I don't know how else to say this, but, and then I ask the question, because, I hope that people get to know me enough to know, okay, well, this is just Christy being Christy, and she really doesn't know how else to ask this. Oh, Tammy, thank you. So kind.
Agreed.
But and it is, like going back to the story about the BMW with my husband. If I would have been in my wise mind, I
Yeah.
probably could have handled that a lot better.
Yeah.
Wasn't my most gracious moment.
Yeah,
you know
not the finest hour.
no, and that's the thing, is that it's something so funny that you can laugh at, because most people would be like, wait, your reaction was what? Hold on, back up. Wait, what? And you said what? so, that also goes to show that you can be way too far the other way. So.
Yeah, you might need to repeat that story. There might be some people here who've not heard the BMW
Oh,
story.
okay. So the story is, a few years ago, we were living in Alaska, and my husband was working 712s, and I had always wanted a little BMW convertible Z4. And so he found one and he bought it for me, sight unseen. And it was in Colorado. And he like sent the money and everything like that. He was so proud of himself. He comes in with his cell phone and he's like, look what I just bought you. And I had the worst possible reaction a human could have. Instead of being thankful in the moment that my husband, who had been working, like, and he would work 14-day stretches. So, 12-hour days, 14 days in a row, working really hard, saving, like, had thought this through. My response was, you bought me a what? You paid how much? We haven't even seen it. How are we going to get it from Denver to my mom's house? Do you know how much those windshield wipers are? Oil changes? How are we going to pay for insurance? We still have another like 3 months here. Who's going to drive it? Why did you do this? Why didn't you just wait? Worst reaction, worst ever reaction. And here's the even worse part. He had never bought a vehicle like that for anyone in his life. Like, we both had been married before, but he had never bought that caliber of a vehicle as a gift for anyone. So
Wow.
there was that. So it was It was
Oh,
a huge fail all the way around. Like it just wasn't good. So he went to bed, and I ended up. I called my sister-in-law, and she drives a semi truck, and she transports high-end racehorses. So she knows cars, and she knows what she's looking at. And I was like, could you go look at this for us? And my mom drove it back, and then my mom drove it while we were still in Alaska. So she got to enjoy it. But after he went to bed, and I went to go clean rooms for the day, when he woke up, I was like, it was amazing. Thank you so much.
yeah.
But
Aw.
it was too late. It had kind of
Oh, a little too late. Yeah.
pretty
Aw.
harsh. So yeah. So there's that story. So I'm not always so amazing.
CK, DBT is dialectical behavior therapy. It's like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but it brings in mindfulness, kind of the Eastern thought of mindfulness. In addition, cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on change only. DBT focuses on, yes, change is the goal, but thinking about, accepting the reality of what's really right here, right now,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
And being present in the moment, and how to handle your emotions when they're going out of control, how to get them back into check, how to recognize when you're too far. There's emotional mind, which is where your emotions just take over, and then there's reasonable mind, which is where I was at with the BMW, which is not a good place to be either. And it's merging the two so that you have a healthier perspective, a healthier outlook, a healthier opportunity for change, just a overall healthier way to approach it, as opposed to just staying stuck one side or the other. So it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
And they use it a lot for people in recovery, addictions.
Mhm. They
You know,
use it for people with BPD, borderline personality disorder.
bipolar,
I
schizophrenia.
actually watched a testimonial, not a testimonial per se, but it was two women from Britain who had severe personality disorders, and how DBT helped them to be functional. They were
Right.
totally functional, rational human beings, and
Yeah.
it was pretty beautiful. I might do a reaction video on that on
That
Saturday.
would be good.
Back to those
Yeah.
women and
That way everybody
their
could kind of,
experience of it. Yeah.
yeah, kind of see, because
Mhm.
it is really, really beneficial. Like I've not, anybody who's ever been through it or used it, I've not heard anybody who said this didn't work for me.
Wow.
Everybody, did I freeze again?
Yeah, a little bit. So
I was going to say,
thought I'd use the frozen moment to say, well, CK, you are doing what you got to do, and 3 hours does sound draining, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you've done your 3 hours, and
oh,
yeah, that's amazing. In fact, I think that deserves a tiara and a royal wave. Congratulations. Doing the work, getting sober, getting clean.
yes, yes. I'm so glad that you're here too. It's so cool to see everybody's efforts and like the things that they're doing to improve themselves. It's really amazing. Because you can tell that healing is wanted, that understanding is wanted. And I just think that's a beautiful thing altogether.
100%. Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it really is. Really is. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Yes. Christy, and you get a tiara too. I mean, one cosmic Christy.
Yes.
You're doing this, girl. You're doing it.
You are. you know, it's just beautiful. And I love the how everybody's willing to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
About their feelings and what they're going through, because you never know who is lurking, who
And
could
who
really,
needs to hear it at any given point?
yeah,
Needs to hear that
yeah,
somebody else, that they're not alone, that somebody else has just dealt with that very same thing today.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's huge sometimes.
yeah,
It gives you
or
a little bit of something to hang on to. And God knows we need that.
yes. Well, and even like Cosmic said when Tommy was talking about what he dealt with, even knowing that somebody can be into their journey that far and then, have something happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever say anything like that is reassuring, but it shows you that anybody's susceptible, that anybody can go through that,
Yes. Yes.
and I think that's an important thing to know, because I think that's part of it, like with eating disorders or depression, or I mean, I can't speak to addiction, but you feel isolated.
Yeah.
You feel like it's just you and nobody understands. And that's always why one of the things I say to people is, you're not the only person who's ever gone through this.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of resources out there to help with any situation. And I don't say
That's
that.
one of the things that can keep us in active addiction, is that thing of nobody understands me. I'm completely and totally unique. Nobody would ever understand this or this that's going on with me, or that I'm dealing with. And it's
Mhm.
just not the truth, and
Yeah.
that's so important, especially in early days of recovery, to recognize that,
Yeah.
oh, it's not, we any one person at any given time is susceptible to
Mhm.
anything similar and having the same, problem going through it, not
Right.
wanting to go through it, wanting to drink instead, or use instead, or do the
Mhm.
addictive behavior instead. Just say F it and off we go, because
Oh, yeah.
nobody understands. Well, we do understand. We
Yeah.
understand a
Yeah.
lot, and that's where I think that we could be healthier as a society, is
Mhm.
just getting used to saying, yeah, I was there just today, and
Mhm.
and I didn't handle it well, or whatever. Just being honest,
Right.
it doesn't hurt anybody, even though it feels like it's going to kill you or kill somebody else. In the long run, has anybody ever died of honesty hitting them?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think when you can start to be honest with yourself, no matter what the situation is, that's your first step toward healing, because you can't heal what you don't want to see, you know. And the moment that you say, okay, this is it, or this is why I do that, then you can start to work on that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, there's so much that everybody's going through right now. Like, and even just the world as a collective
I think yeah. Yeah.
is just going through everything, and it's so hard. I think in some ways it's easier to isolate, because you turn off the news
Yeah.
because you don't want to see all of the other stuff. And so, you kind of isolate yourself there, and so it can be really overwhelming.
Oh, oh, CK. Yeah. I've recently been learning about tapering down on off of Klonopin. That sounds like an awful thing to have to go through. And I'm sorry that you have had to go through that, especially with the seizures. Oh my gosh.
Is there someone there with you, CK, who can keep you safe when you're having a seizure? 34 years. Now, someone explain to me again what Klonopin is. I know I've heard it. I don't know that I quite understand what it is exactly.
Well, let's see. I'm no expert, but I do have Google.
Now, is that what Quiet Girl was on as well?
Yes.
She
Yeah,
was taking
she's
you down
also
too?
tapering off of it. All right. Klonopin treats seizures, panic disorder, and anxiety. Okay.
Panic disorders. Okay. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome. Okay. Thank you.
So is it really addictive? Like, what is the hard part about tapering
Body
off?
builds up, the like a tolerance for it, right? And you have to taper off of it because, it's just one of those substances that's like alcohol. You just run the risk of really doing some hurting yourself badly.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
good to see you.
Zelda, hi. Glad you're here.
Why? Let's see. Withdrawal.
Oh, it's a benzo?
Okay,
Oh,
that makes sense.
okay.
That makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah,
Okay.
that
Okay.
makes sense.
All right. Also, difficulty sleeping and alcohol withdrawal.
Oh,
Full of hope. Hi. We're
Oh.
so glad you're here, love. Wow.
Hello, full of
Okay.
hope. Hello, you guys. It's good to see you all. Yay.
Yes. Oh, so Andrew, you're very knowledgeable on this. Thank you for your help.
Right on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Isn't it just amazing what
Yeah. All
what
antidepressant type drugs are meant to be tapered down, especially the
Mm.
benzos, I'm sure. Google helps.
Yeah.
Google is a good tool. It's not your end all be all, but it's there, and and you can kind of even get an idea of where the real research could be if that's needs to be a thing. Our freeze-dried alcohol, and they are only oh, wait. What? Okay, our freeze-dried alcohol, and they are only okay, freeze-dried alcohol, they are the only two things that can kill you from withdrawal. I don't know anything about these new drugs like fentanyl and WD. Okay. But yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it can be very dangerous. They use Klonopin, unfortunately, for alcohol withdrawal, but they leave people on it too long. Okay. That's very
Oh,
scary. Ooh. That's scary. Surely there's better ways,
I would
better
hope so.
things to treat that with. Yeah.
Man. That's well, and if you're and I didn't even know that alcohol withdrawal could kill you, honestly, until I found the boat and hearing everything. I didn't realize that it was that
Yeah.
intense, that it could be that intense.
Yeah, Mom went through alcohol withdrawal twice with her two surgeries, her two major medical emergencies, and it was not good. I don't know how she survived, other than she just has this. She had this iron will to survive.
Right.
Anything that
Wow.
puts you to sleep is very dangerous. It can mess up your breathing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it
Yeah.
depresses it, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I asked my doctor for something other than Valium. Okay.
Yes.
Oh man.
Mm. So are there other options out there? Like, is this the only
There are
option?
great options now for all kinds of withdrawals. Suboxone
Okay.
one. There's the alcoholic the alcohol version of it. It starts with a N and has a own at the end, I think. Help me out here, Cosmic. What is that substance called for alcohol withdrawal? If the alcohol withdrawal is too much, Some hospitals will put you in medically induced coma. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, really?
It can be that intense. I wonder if that's what they had to eventually had to do. She did eventually. She says, I was out, and when I came to, I saw creepy crawlies going up the wall. What they weren't there, but
Right,
yeah,
right. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
30 years, and I still take antabuse,
Yes.
which is
And abuse. Okay,
disulfiram. If you drink on that, you could die quick. It is a deterrent. Okay. I was on Librium, reducing dose over months. Oh man, you guys. Whoo. Wow. Benzo. It depends on how your liver functions. Okay. Let me see. Let me go through there. All right. I'm going to post these up here. Okay. Meloxicam is one. New. Okay.
Naltrexone? Is that how you say that?
Meloxicam. The one that Tammy C put up, and then one was on Librium for reducing dose over months. My son was put in a coma. Okay. They tend to put you on benzo. It depends on how your liver functions. Okay, that's the one I was looking for, Cosmic.
Naltrexone?
Naltrexone.
Wow.
I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, unfortunately. I'm sorry to hear that, Tammy C.
Mhm.
It was horrible. No Librium until 24 hours after last drink. That last 24 hours was hell. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad you lived to tell about it, full of hope. My goodness. Hello,
Wow.
everybody, and welcome to Needing a Meeting.
Yes, welcome in.
So,
Well,
this
I'm learning a lot.
yeah, you can still drink on naltrexone, but you don't get the reward in your brain. You can build up a tolerance, such a tolerance to alcohol that you don't get the benefit anyway. Eventually it does come to a point where you just don't get that feeling that you used to get in your early days of drinking.
Mm,
That's where I had pretty much gotten to.
really?
The reward, it just wasn't there. I guess I just killed off too many brain cells. I don't know. I don't know what that response is, but it is like a tolerance. Building up a tolerance kind of thing. And with some people, they just drink heavier and heavier. I tried that, and it just got me nowhere. It's just like, it seemed like the more I drank, the more sober I would get. And the
Really?
very, very last time I drank, it was like that. And
So then, can I ask a really dumb question? I don't know how else to ask it. So why did you, if you weren't getting the reward, like why did you continue? Like
I
if you, I mean, like, am I asking that right? Like, I don't mean to sound stupid, but
well, I mean, to the to the brain that's not addicted to, to the body that's not, developed a dependency on it, you always, it's one of those things, you tip your glass with high hopes,
uh-huh.
you know,
Oh, okay.
hoping
Okay.
that it'll be different. That's why they say in recovery, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Well, we're in the throes of insanity when we're in our active addiction. There's,
Okay.
there's no
Okay.
rationalizing
Sure.
any
Sure.
part of
Oh, cosmic, in the end, your body needs it. Okay, well, yeah. I guess if you could die from the withdrawals of it, if it's that bad, okay.
Clubhouse
Um,
says, I had rats running all around the floor and corridors, millions of spiders running around the walls. It was just counting the seconds until Librium. It was a long time ago, but I'll never forget. I bet you won't. That sounds like something very similar to what my mom went through. She would drink at least 3 Boilermakers a day. And so when she ended up having to go into the hospital and have a long-term stay because it was a major medical situation, that's what she went through too. It's terrible. She thought it was coming out of anesthesia, but it wasn't. It was the withdrawals. I mean, the anesthesia might have had an effect on it, but
right. Wow.
in the end, it needs it. Yeah. And like Cosmic said, there are no dumb questions.
Yeah. Valium, Xanax, Klonopin, word, benjos.
They don't leave you on it. There is always some time when you'll feel bad to let your brain and body try to go back to somewhat normal. Yeah, whatever that ends up being for you. I didn't know for months what my normal was going to be. I thought I have absolutely ruined my body and my brain, and I didn't know what I was going to be left with. You know, there did end up being some restoration, but you know, you never get to go back to what you were before.
Right.
At this point, my son can die without alcohol, says Tammy Z. Hello, Misha. Welcome. Good to see you. I'm glad you're fine, CK. Now I want to get this one up. I'm going through that myself, not drinking, not on benzos, sometimes Excedrin. Okay. You know what? Let's just everybody do a one for everybody in this chat today, because
Yeah, let's do that.
that is, we need to hold each other up for sure. Still don't have the energy I had. I never did really recover fully, you know, my high energy self either, Zelda. You know, I was hyper energy, you know, and yeah, I never did get to go back to that either.
Oh, Tammy, here's sorry that my dog made your dog bark. I seen something.
Welcome.
Full of Hope says, did you see this? She had a 20-minute grand mal seizure, scared the poop out of the staff.
Oh, I know it did. And you are alive. I am so happy that you are. And I'm so sorry that you have gone through that. Oh my God.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah. Right on. I love that.
Hello, wee man.
Yeah.
Lack of energy.
Yeah, lack of energy. Yeah. You know, for a long time, at least the first year, maybe even a little bit longer, I felt like I was having to walk through hurricane force winds. It was that much effort just to move through life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so now, were you in the cult at the time you were going through that first year?
That first year, I was not in the cult that I ultimately joined and left, but I was in a kind of a pretty evangelical, charismatic church, you know, met 3 times a week, and you know,
Right.
and
Right.
and I was one of those that was there every time the doors were open, and you know, because that was my new thing. That was, you know, I just traded, you know, booze for that, and and you know, ultimately, one situation led me to another situation that led me to another situation that led me to the cult. You know, I just got like deeper and deeper in other words.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I seen here that, was it Awakened, that said, Lurking right now, can't talk, just need to know y'all are here. We're always here for you.
100%.
We're here for everybody. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Full of hope. I need my beauty sleep. Oh, of course you do. It's lovely to see you too. Happy Thanksgiving too, Full of Hope. I hope that you have a beautiful holiday.
Yeah.
So he says, "Oh my God, everyone knows me." Your family's here.
Yeah. Yeah, we know you. You're awesome.
That's great. That's great. Oh, I'm so glad, Carol, that you created this space where people can come in and actually talk instead of just trying to do it in a chat if they need to, or just chat and catch up and watch the replay. It's a really different format, but it works really nicely, because sometimes you do just need to come in and say what you got to say.
Yeah.
So, well, and Cosmic, I hope you get to feeling better. I hope you have a good day today.
Too.
That's
This doesn't go on for too long. This feeling that you're having to go through in this new adjustment period. I hope it's brief.
Yes. Very brief. And CK, it's always good to see you here showing up. It does feel weird when you're not here, doesn't it? I know that one day I missed. I was like, oh, I miss it. It's like it throws the rest of your day off. I was like, oh,
yeah.
What do I do? What do I do with myself?
Yeah. I almost don't feel like I don't know what to do with myself just not having Steve here even. But
yeah.
So since we're all here and we're talking about the things that we are, put a 2 in the chat if you are needing a meeting and there's something that we need that you want to talk about, or that we can address. If you want to do it in the chat, or if you want to come into the room, or a 3 if you feel like you've had a meeting. I know some of you just got here. So if you're showing up here and you need a meeting, we want to be
Johnny,
here.
Hey, Chase the Heat showed up.
Hey, Johnny.
We're so glad you're here. Welcome in. Yes, Christy. And is that Balake? Is that how we say that? Well, look at all these people showing up. Hey, we got Andrew and Chase the Heat and Balake. So glad you guys are here. Look at the guys showing up. Gotta love it.
Oh, Steve would be so sad that now he's finally not the only guy in the room.
And he's not the only Steve.
So upset when he learns this. Maybe we won't tell him.
He had so many Steves.
One day he couldn't be here.
Awesome. Well, I think
we don't have very many 2s or 3s.
No.
Mr. Carol Klingon better be here next time. You get Steve when you get Steve, and that's pretty much how that rolls. Mr. C. Klingon.
That.
Mr. Tard Herder.
I love it. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I think it.
Let's do, can you take us through a DBT exercise? Do you think you could?
Meaning like,
we can do the box breathing, but maybe, do you know of a way to kind of walk us through some kind of something that's DBT related?
Well, the meditations are definitely, like the guided meditations are definitely very DBT related.
Okay.
I can go grab my book real quick. There's like some worksheets and stuff in there. If that is that what you're thinking, like a worksheet where you kind of.
Well, something that we can all kind of do together to kind of, put ourselves in that space of, what DBT is able to do for us.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me go grab my book. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I've been reading from DBT Explained by Suzette Bray, LMFT, whatever that is, whatever that means. It sounds like a weird acronym, but I won't go there. I don't know what that is, but I assume it has to do with therapy. And so, yeah, we'll be getting into this a little bit more, and hopefully I will be getting into some exercises myself. I've also been reading some from DBT for Dummies. I love dummy books. I mean, some of my best learnings have been from dummy books. I grew the most gorgeous roses in Southern California in my last few years there, off of a dummy book. I bought all, I'd go to thrift stores and I'd buy all these rose books or check all these rose books out from the library. And the best one was the Roses for Dummies. So.
Okay. Let's see.
Love you too. Right on. I think we can all use some more meditation. I think it's a good thing.
Yes. Meditation is such a nice thing, and it really does kind of calm you down. And I'm trying to see if there's something related to wise mind or what we talked about today.
Well, if something just jumps out at you, let's just go for it.
Yeah. There's this section in the back on that
card, any card.
right.
Being mindful in your interactions with others makes our relationships stronger and last longer. Look to the what skills of mindfulness, observe, describe, and participate to guide you in relational mindfulness. Be curious and interested. Pay attention, which is under observe. People change their beliefs, thoughts, desires, and competencies. Drop over focus on self. Yes. Stay in the here and now and listen to others in real time rather than planning what you will say next. Oh, that's huge.
Yes.
That's a huge. So let's do some meditation that'll help us do some of that.
We can do that. I thought that I seen in
Describe. Avoid judgments and assumptions. Don't assume you know why someone is acting in a specific way. Oh, dear. I'm guilty of that today. Oops. Sorry, SBTV. When in doubt, check it out. Well, and to be fair, I did try. There wasn't much out.
Yeah, you did. They didn't give you a whole lot.
Give me a whole lot to go on. So I made the ass out of you and me and assumed. Give others the benefit of the doubt and avoid assuming ill intent. Most people are not ill-intentioned. When they are, it's clear. Most people just aren't even thinking. They're just trying to get, know?
Yes.
Just because something someone did made you angry doesn't mean they meant to make you angry. Again, when in doubt, check it out. Participate. Jump into the interaction. Don't stand on the edge of the conversation. Get into it. Fully participate in groups. Let go of focus on yourself and become one with the group activity or conversation.
Now, here's something that might work. Now, it's not from the DBT book. It's from my personal power through awareness, but I think that it would probably work. I'll go through the 3 things and then we can decide if we want to kind of meditate on one of these. Think about when you woke up this morning. How did you feel? What things about the day were on your mind? So that's being very present and mindful, putting yourself in wise mind. Who did you see or talk to today? How did your energy change before, during, and after you saw them? Can you find instances in which you took their energy into yourself? So, like, how did somebody else's feelings affect you?
One of the things that my husband does that kind of sends me into orbit happened today, and it's pretty minor, it's pretty innocent, but it is what he does, and it is a button that's there and it gets pushed. I just kind of let it glaze over me today rather than get into the whole
Good for you.
That was a good thing.
That is a very good thing. That is a very good
I
thing.
can do more of that. I might be on my way to being a halfway decent human being. Who knows?
You're a decent human being. Take any feelings or thoughts you did not like when you were with a specific individual and imagine yourself dissolving those emotions and thoughts into light. Breathe deeply and feel yourself returning to a balanced, centered feeling.
Okay.
So those are things and that's very much in line with DBT, because DBT really is about, I can't chase the heat. I can't figure out why I do what I do. I would never dream of trying to figure others out. Well, if we're being honest, darling, I can't figure out why you eat all of those hot peppers. Just saying. Yeah, you need to practice that way more. Good vibes. Yes, good vibes are always a good thing. Some of this is, I'm just trying to find something that, here's something else. This is talking about, it's a worksheet that you can fill out talking about what self-acceptance versus change looks like. Wanting a different life while resisting change, like how those things are for you. Being the real you versus being vulnerable to others. Structure versus freedom. This is like all kind of things you can think about. Fear of needing people, conflicting with fear of being independent. Oh, that's a good one. I kind of struggled with that one for a long time. Really needing somebody around, because there was a point in my life where I really, really needed someone around. And I knew I needed to step out on my own, but I was terrified to be on my own, because what if I failed? Like, if it's just me and I fail, then what's going to happen? That can be really intimidating.
Yeah.
Bye, Tammy. Have a good night.
Have a good night, sweetie.
Desire to succeed while actively destroying your progress.
Woo.
Who hasn't done that? Yes. Setting goals that are too easy or goals that are too hard. I definitely think a lot of times people, I'm all for shoot for the stars, right? But you have to build your rocket ship first. So, I think that's a lot of times people can just do things too easy, and you don't really get that, because there is a reward when you have a stretch goal, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at something and you kind of have to work a little bit for it, it feels good when you finally get there.
That's true. It's true.
If it's too easy, there's no reward. But if it's too hard, you're almost sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
And then, if you go back to the addicted brain, well, if it's too easy, then there's no reward. But if it's too hard, well, I failed. I'm just going to go back to this behavior, caring for others and still maintaining boundaries. Balance focusing on yourself versus focusing on others. I'm going to be honest. I think that's
We all are. Chase the heat.
Yes. Oh gosh, no one is.
I don't think anybody gets out of this without
getting
some brokenness somewhere along the line.
No. And the amazing thing is though, is that this is how I see things, and this is the idealist in me. When you're broken, you get to, when you're healing, you get to write your story. You get like a whole blank page. And yeah, you were this person before, and it doesn't even really matter who you were before, but you get to pick who you want to be going forward and make sure that all of the things that you did in your past aren't in vain. And I think that's the biggest driving force for me personally, is all of the stuff that happened to me, all of the crazy, jacked up nonsense that I went through, that I did to myself, that I did to other people. When it came time to do it, it's like I get to pick who I'm going to be, and you get to work toward that. And so, nobody's so broken that you can't be fixed.
I have felt like I have been, though. I have
Yeah,
felt like there is no way I'm coming out of this one.
right. But you did.
I may have my arm up here on my ear, but I am here.
I always kind of equate it to like walking in a lake or like a creek. We used to walk in creeks a lot when I was little. You can take your shoes off and you go wading in the creek, right? And you come out and you always have dirt stuck to you. You never come out of the creek as clean as you went into the creek. And you just can't do it. But you learn from it and you become wiser. And I think that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. Letting go of control to gain control. Ooh, that's a deep one. Seeing only pros or only cons of a situation. How many times do we do that? Just
I mean, I think that's one of the more dangerous places to be, in that black and white, but we live there so much.
Yeah.
I do so much of the time.
Right.
The mind is just so tempted to go there.
It is. And that's why, like getting into your wise mind can help you, because if you're seeing only pros or only cons of a situation, again, the pro could be the emotional, going back to the car, the pro could be the emotional mind. Yeah, I got the car. It doesn't matter what it cost, I got it. The con is, oh my God, what'd you do? Whereas, the wise mind is, that's awesome. My mom's going to get to drive a really cool car for a few months while we're waiting for it to get home. I think honestly, that's the best teaching story ever. Not because it's mine, but just because normal people are like, why? How? Not being a doormat and not being demanding. Those are two things that,
Zelda, it is so key to having people like that in your life that can help you remember, okay, that one thing that you thought you were never going to get through, you got through that. Right. You can get through this. Because sometimes it's too much to tell, to be able to find the way to tell ourselves. It does help.
Yeah. Well, and you know what someone told me once, it said you've gotten through 100% of the things you've ever been faced with, and you're still here.
And you're still here.
And the other thing, and
the mirror, there's always hope.
Right. And the other thing my dad said to me, this was when I was going through my divorce, and this meant the most to me. And it's something that I try to say to people when it's appropriate. He said, no one can ever say you did not try. And to me, that meant the world, because it's like, that was validation that even though, and my dad hated my ex, like did not want me to marry him. I mean, it was a whole thing. But to have somebody just acknowledge, no one can say you didn't try. Like, how empowering are those words? Like that's a very empowering statement right there.
Yeah, it is.
especially when it comes from someone that really believes it about you. And it's not just like, oh, Carol, you tried. No, like with
Yeah.
Cosmic.
I mean, nobody knew you better than your dad.
Yeah.
You've known you your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
And
on.
that to me is like, hey, you tried, so, I mean, doesn't matter what you did. Asserting your values while respecting the values of others. Isn't that a good one? It's like agreeing to disagree, finding that space where you can have a conversation where you can learn from both people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's been a lot of conversations I've had where it's like, look, you're not going to change my mind on how I feel about this, and I'm not going to change yours, but tell me why you believe this. Like, explain to me what this is.
Yeah.
And you can still learn a lot, in that instance. Being too passive or too aggressive, being capable and asking, or both being capable and asking for help. How hard is that? Knowing you can do it, but still asking for help when you need it. Like, there's so many times we get stuck in our own mind around that. I can do it. I don't need anybody's help. I'm competent. I can do it.
That's why I landed in that ditch that time. Yeah.
This is,
speaking, but yeah.
well, I mean,
Not
it's true.
literally too. I've been in a ditch before.
Right. And here's the funny thing. I can do a lot of things, but y'all, I can't stand flat-footed and reach that third shelf in my cabinets. It is not going to happen. So it doesn't matter how capable I am, unless I get a step stool or scale a cabinet, it's not happening. So I think, and those are really stupid, silly things, but it's true. And if you can see it in that light, then you can take it and apply it to bigger situations. Hey, I still can't do that, memories. I haven't seen that name. Oh, yes, it definitely makes this more interesting. Being too private versus being an open book. Doing your best and needing to do better. Balance old self with new self. That's a tough one. Keeping the parts of you from who you were that you liked, and bringing those into the new version of yourself, but not bringing all of that other stuff over, because that's a little scary, because you could see it as, well, if I let this little thing in, is it going to let that in? Is it going to let this in? Is it going to let the other thing in? And it doesn't really mean so, let's see. Want tos versus have tos. Yeah. Okay. That's one I struggle with. Here's another one. Taking a situation personally when it's not about you. Right? That can be difficult. Wanting perfection and knowing you are human. All or nothing approach to anything. Picking your battles. Picking your battles. Like the Japanese.
That's called marriage, isn't it?
Parenthood. Is that the hill we want to die on today? Maybe not. That's a good question. If it all ended right now over this, are you good with that? Are you good with it ending over blah? And I think having a sense of humor about things is important too.
Yeah.
Like really.
Yeah, 100% Cosmic.
Oh, yes.
Parenting. Woo.
Very good. So that was one of the worksheets to just, go over things to think about. I'll post it in the group. That way, if anybody wants to journal about those, maybe I'll post it over in the lifeboat too, as just journal prompts, of things to think about and work out. It's DBT has a lot of that kind of stuff. That's kind of that homework side of things, where you really sit down and think about that kind of thing. But
Cool.
good. It's a good idea of seeing the opposites and going back to mindfulness and what you talked about earlier about opposing viewpoints. Good way to tie it in. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So, well, I think that's kind of the
let's
ending.
do some box breathing meditation.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
up for it?
Let's do. Yeah. I'm always up for it. All right. So for those of you who are new, what we like to do some box breathing at the end. And so what you do is you breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then you exhale until your lungs are completely empty. And we're going to do that for 3, and then we'll do a little meditation at the end, and just keep your eyes closed, and then I'll just let you open your eyes when
You're cutting out a little bit.
So go ahead and
You're cutting out a little bit.
close your eyes. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and shake out all of those kinks. Let loose. All right. Go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4. Hold. And exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Last one, breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Now I want you to drop into your heart center. Imagine yourself sitting in a nice meadow on the cool grass, feeling the grass on your toes, the warm, loving sunshine shining all around you, your body soaking up all of the sunshine and love that is being offered to you by your higher power right now. I want you to take a moment and sit in acceptance and gratitude that you are in such a beautiful place, surrounded by things and people that you love. Now I want you to imagine for a moment a time in your life when you were very, very proud of yourself and an accomplishment that you had. How old were you? What did you do to make yourself feel accomplished and proud? And what did that reward feel like? And as you sit in this energy of accomplishment, pride, and happiness, I want you to let it wash over your body in loving acceptance, taking in all of the beautiful energy and love. And now, I want you to stand up and look around and find that great big rock that's right next to your feet. And I want you to pick it up and hold it in your hand. Focus all of your negative thoughts, self-doubt, ill will into that rock. And I want you to throw it far, far, far into the sunset, never, ever to be seen again. And with a smile on your face, turn around and walk into the golden, warm, glowing light of acceptance and love. And when you are ready, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Isn't that good? I always like to chuck the rock at the end. Like I want to throw something. Get out of here. I mean, I don't sound like a New Yorker or anything, but get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. That was such a
It was
good
a great
meeting.
Thank you,
It's
guys.
really, really good. And so excited to see all the new people into the meeting. That was
Yes. Thank you for being here.
good.
Good
Yes.
stuff.
Well, I will see you all tomorrow.
Good to see you. Peace, y'all. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next meeting.